I'm so glad so many of you are here. We'll keep letting folks in as they come in. I'm very excited to introduce you to Trina Felber. She is the mother of clean beauty, and I can't wait for her to share more about a topic that, as many of you know, is not my wheelhouse. People are always asking me, like, what are you using for makeup or skincare? And I don't know, because I just do none of it. And so I really wanted to bring somebody who could help answer the questions that you have on this topic. And just be a wonderful resource for you. So I will hand it over to you, Trina. I know you are gonna teach us a lot of things today.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen with everyone. So welcome. Let me get my share screen. If you have any questions, I encourage you to put them in the chat as I'm going through the presentation. I'm going to have I'm going to try and keep the chat up, but it's going to be hard for me to keep an eye on it. So Deidre is going to keep an eye on it. And then if she feels the need to, if we're in a good spot to ask that question, otherwise we'll get to them at the end. So Deidre, just kind of keep an eye on those for me. And let me see. Let me just pull up all of this stuff so that I have it. I can see everybody. Okay. All right. So welcome. Today we're going to talk about what's secretly making you sick and sabotaging your beauty. And we're going to uncover the hidden dangers and bring your health and radiance back. The truth of the matter is, and this is what many women don't, we're starting to wake up to this, but the products that you use every single day to care for your skin might be actually making you sick. Most of the products on the market contain hidden toxins that disrupt your microbiome, throw off your hormones, and slow down your metabolism, leaving you tired, aging so much faster than you should be, and wondering, why am I not feeling well? Why is nothing working? Why am I looking older and feeling so much older? Because the truth is, what you don't see can actually hurt you, and your personal care products impact you more than you think. They impact more than just your skin. One of the things that's really important to understand is what you put on your skin, approximately 60% gets absorbed within about 30 to 60 seconds from the time you apply it. We know this because as a nurse, I've been a nurse for over 30 years. I worked in the emergency room off and on. And when people come in with heart attacks or they're suffering with chest pain, one of the first things, or the first thing we do, is put some nitroglycerin. So we put a little bit of paste on a piece of paper and we slap it on the arm or the chest area. And within about 30 to 60 seconds, we can see the heart rate and the blood pressure starting to come down. So we do know that very quickly, the things that you put on your skin do get absorbed. The difference is, so your skin is your second gut. This is why this topic is extremely important. Your skin is your second gut, but when you eat something through your mouth, we have a protective mechanism that will help to cleanse the blood of these toxins. So the liver is where the blood will go, and we call it first pass through the liver. The first pass of that blood flow through the liver is supposed to get rid of about 70, 80% of the toxins. But when we are ingesting through our skin, the blood flow from the skin, it gets absorbed into venous blood. And so the venous blood goes to the lungs to be reoxygenated. All of it filters back to the lungs. So it doesn't matter where you're absorbing this through, even your gum tissue, but it all goes back to your lungs to be reoxygenated. And then it goes to your heart, which is why there's such a big connection between inflammation in the heart and, oral health as well as skin health. But from the heart, it pumps not just to the heart to feed the muscle of the heart, but the heart pumps everywhere, including your brain and all of your vital organs. So that's why it's extremely important. Very, very little, just whatever gets to the liver is going to actually make it to the liver. So this is why personal care products, even the tiny amount that they tell you is safe, is truly not safe because of the number of products. And I'll get to that in a minute. The number of products that we're using on our skin every single day. So I coined this phrase probably about 10 years ago. Your skincare is making you fat, sick, and forgetful. And fat because of the hormone disruptors. that are in the products. And it's not just one, it's a multitude of different hormone disruptors. They affect our thyroid gland, which controls our metabolism. But these same chemicals are also messing with other, hormonal imbalances, including infertility and menopausal symptoms. And then they're making us sick because they're inflammation causing ingredients, which is basically what cancer is. It's related to inflammation. So most of the products, or many products, contain ingredients like formaldehyde, parabens, and phthalates, and those are known to increase your risk of breast cancer and other cancers. And then neurotoxic, which would be your brain, because of the heavy metals that are in most personal care products, including lead, mercury, and aluminum, that will disrupt the way your nervous system functions. So it's time to rethink what we put on our skin, because beauty, I believe, should never come at the cost of your health. This is an astounding report. So, the average woman absorbs over 5 pounds of chemicals through her skin every single year. And I think that's actually a light number. It's probably closer to 6 to 10 pounds of chemicals through her skin every year. That's a lot. That's a lot of chemicals. I mean, think about like a bag of flour, whatever kind of flour you get, and multiplying that up to, 6 or 7 pounds. When you Google Dr. Google, and when you Google how many chemicals do women absorb through their skin daily, Dr. Google hasn't updated in many, many years. For years and years, it's been saying 168 chemicals. Women use 12 products a day on average, and women absorb or exposed to about 168 chemicals. Well, I redid the math to 2025. And the math basically is that women use between 20 and 25 products on our bodies every single day. You have to include makeup, you have to include hair products, dental products, and all body products. Everything has to be included in that. The number of chemicals being used in products today is different than the number being used 20 or 30 years ago. So when I redid the math, the number is closer to, so women use between 20 and 25 products a day. There's approximately 20 to 40 chemicals in most skincare products. So women are being exposed to over 500 chemicals every single day. And we wonder why we're not feeling well. We wonder why our hormones are out of balance. We wonder why we can't get pregnant, or we wonder why we're, having menopausal symptoms, and it seems like it's a little early for that. We wonder why our kids are having so many problems with, ADD and autism and things like that. So this is a big problem that I'm here to help everyone solve. And it's not as hard as you think. So this is a list. I made a list of everything that I could come up with that women could be possibly using every single day. And granted, you're probably not using everything. Like an exfoliator scrub, you might not use every single day. Maybe you're not wearing makeup every single day, or maybe you're not doing your hair every single day. But you have to look at this number and say, okay, how many of these do I check off on a daily basis that I'm putting on my body? Because believe it or not, even hair products, your scalp is very vascular. That's why when when I was in the ER, someone came in with a scalp laceration, it looked like they should be dead. There was so much blood, because the scalp has so much, it's so vascular. So even if you think it's not a big deal, it really is a big deal, because these things sit on your scalp and they just get absorbed, especially with the oils that your skin magically makes. Your skin is making its own sebum everywhere, because it's supposed to be making it to protect the microbiome. You create your own microbiome to protect you. So these are some more: the body products, the dental products. We can't forget the whitening strips, all of those things, nail products, and even fragrance. Fragrance is probably one of the worst. There are some good fragrance companies on the market now, so that's a bonus, but many people aren't using those. So when you add all of these up, this is about 50 products total that you could possibly be exposing yourself to, pretty frequently, even if it's not daily for all of these. But if each one of these has between 20 and 40 chemicals, if you do the math, that's a lot. That's 1,000 to 2,000 chemicals that we can be exposing ourselves to. And it's what's really making us sick. So you might be able to relate. Put in the chat, ladies, if you're able to relate to any of these. Maybe you've noticed unexplained weight gain or fatigue or headaches or brain fog, and you're not really, really sure what's going on. And as you get older, a lot of times you go to the physician or you're working with someone, and we get the feeling that this is just getting older. These are just symptoms of getting older, or you just have to deal with it, or, this is the solution, take another pill or do this or do that. Maybe your skin, maybe it's your skin feels irritated. You're starting to get really sensitive skin, very dry skin. If you're prone to redness, rashes, or breakouts, anything like that. Or maybe you're just starting to question, maybe you're here because you're like, I'm wondering what's in my products and if they're actually working against me. Because as I get older, I'm not really feeling like I'm looking younger, or, I'm looking older than I really should, or I don't want to, continue down this path. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Trina. I'm the mother of the clean beauty movement. I've been doing this for about 20 years. It started after a miscarriage. So I suffered with, irregular periods all of my life. I suffered with infertility, all of my adulthood, basically. And this actually became a career for me after a miscarriage, because the miscarriage actually opened my eyes to toxins and pollutants. This was back in 2007. I had just graduated from anesthesia school. I'm a master's degree in anesthesia as a nurse anesthetist. And my husband and I wanted to start a family. So we went to Fiji to get married right after I graduated. And I was turning 40. And so I assumed I have four sisters total, but three of them needed to go on fertility medications, in order to get pregnant. So I just assumed with my history that the same thing was going to happen. But I got pregnant right away on the honeymoon. So we were elated, came back, started working. And at week 7, I miscarried. And it was that miscarriage that literally opened my eyes. We were healthy. We were starting to eat healthy. We were not eating gluten. I was having some abdominal issues, bloating and things like that. So we had cut out the gluten. We worked out. We felt like we were healthy, but we both decided, what if we just look at everything in our environment and figure out if there's anything that we can control, then we control it. So we changed our laundry detergent, changed our cleaning supplies, got air purifiers. Never dawned on me to think about my skincare as poisoning me. But I got pregnant with our daughter, who's now 16 years old, pretty quickly after the miscarriage. And it was at week 7 with her because I was so paranoid about losing this pregnancy. And it was basically the same place I had miscarried. And I got up that morning, I was getting ready for work. I glanced down at my moisturizer, which I thought was from a fairly healthy company. And I recognized some toxic chemicals or ingredients in there. Immediately thought, there's no way I'm not going to do this. I can't believe the skincare. So I just, one after another, was looking and started reading the ingredients and recognized these chemicals. I knew they crossed the placenta, so I knew my daughter with it was at risk. And I decided it was then and there that I needed to change. So I literally threw everything out and I started with making my own products. And so that's really how it started for me. And, as of now, I've helped thousands of women reclaim their health and their beauty just by making a switch of what you're using. I combine science, experience, and of course, a passion to uncover these hidden dangers in the beauty industry that they don't want you to know. So I've walked this journey myself, overcoming infertility, skin issues. I had acne until I switched. My skincare. I went through Accutane twice, once in my 20s, once in my 30s. It never worked. I went through everything. If you've done the acne road, you've been on prescription, antibiotics, all the things. I did that all. Nothing worked until I made this switch. I had hormone imbalances. I remember taking hormonal, supplements. And of course, I had the infertility issues, the irregular periods, the brain fog, all of those things So what's amazing is I don't have those anymore. And as soon as I made the switch, things changed very quickly for me. And I felt like I regained my health. So my mission is to empower women to detox their personal care products of all of these toxins, to embrace clean living and clean beauty and live healthier lives because it is possible. So before I continue, I just wanted to let you know that I believe that beauty and health are inseparable, and that by detoxing what we put on our skin, we can reclaim both. And this is Joan. Joan is a client of mine. And, when she found me, she was losing hope. She was, kind of menopausal. She was feeling uncomfortable with the way her skin was looking. And she just assumed that, her fatigue and brain fog and all of those symptoms were related to either aging or, other things. But, and she had digestive issues like I had, the bloating and all of that kind of stuff. But she went through my program and she was amazed at how quickly she regained her energy levels and got rid of that fatigue and sluggishness, the brain fog, and even the digestive issues were able to be healed. Because when your body is being overwhelmed and flooded with all these toxins that you're absorbing through your skincare, your organs can't function and your liver can't function. It's being, it has to compensate, and it's just being overwhelmed with all these toxins. So here's what we're going to go over. We're going to talk about how synthetic ingredients disrupt your microbiome and your hormones. Microbiome is a big buzzword. I'm sure you've heard it before, but you're going to be surprised to find how skincare actually affects a lot of your microbiome. It's not just your skin. It actually affects internal microbiome as well. And why what you put on your skin impacts your energy, weight, and overall health. And then simple, actionable changes to protect your health and reclaim your glow. So, problem number one. Deidre, do you want to jump in? Is there anything you need to add, or do we have any questions?
No, I think this is going to be so valuable, and so many people who are here and people that are clients that I'm thinking of. I think this is a really important thing that they're missing. And to your point, we often think about this the day that we become pregnant or weeks into pregnancy, where I want women to start thinking about this preconception.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone asks me, when do I start? Well, today. Today's the day you start. You don't have to jump in, you've got a life jacket, so you don't have to jump in and worry about it. I always walk my clients through it, and you never have to feel pressured. It's actually very simple, because when I simplify it for women, I simplify it down to literally the start of with just one single product. That's all you need for your whole self-care. And it's really simple. So, okay, I'll continue. And I saw, yes, there will be a recording because we're recording this. So, yay. All right. So, number one, disruption of skin microbiome. This one makes sense. You're putting these chemicals and preservatives that actually kill bacteria right on your skin. So, they're going to kill all bacteria, even the beneficial bacteria that grows or is supposed to grow and protect your skin. But the antibacterial agents will also weaken your skin's natural defense over time. So what you might see on your skin is infections or sensitivities. Even on your face, you might say, oh my gosh, my skin is so dry and I don't know why. Or it's so sensitive now, I don't know what to do. Redness and inflammation, and even eyes, your eyes get watery or sensitive because some of the chemicals in them absolutely get absorbed into your eyes, or they leak into your eyes, if you will. So, we don't realize it. What we put on our face sometimes does get into our eyes and can cause some other problems. But then the disruption of your mouth microbiome, your oral microbiome, and your mouth is directly linked to internal health. So if your mouth is not healthy and your mouth is not happy, then your whole body is out of whack. Oral health is directly linked to heart health, but it's also directly linked to infertility. There's nitric oxide is, 50% of your nitric oxide is produced inside your mouth. And so if you don't have healthy bacteria inside your mouth, you won't make 50% of nitric oxide. And why is that important? Nitric oxide is a vasodilator, which means it increases the diameter of your blood vessels. So it'll take your blood vessels from being small to being big. So think of times where this is extremely important. Exercise for your heart. Anytime you're exercising, you need more oxygen to get to the muscle of the heart, or you'll end up with chest pain. Your brain, you don't get enough oxygen in your brain, you're going to faint or worse. We'll talk about fertility. You need to have nitric oxide to keep your fallopian tubes. I'm going to fumble on the word fallopian tubes open, and to release the egg and to support a pregnancy. You need good nitric oxide supply to the uterus to actually have implantation and then the development. So nitric oxide is important for pregnancy, for the conception, for the actual pregnancy, implantation, supporting the pregnancy, and even through delivery. Nitric oxide is extremely important. But for men as well, for erectile dysfunction is directly linked to lower nitric oxide production. But erectile dysfunction affects both men and women. We just don't think of it as a woman's health issue, but it truly is. So anyway, oral microbiome is extremely important, but the toothpaste that we use, the mouthwashes on the market, even whitening agents like peroxide have ingredients in them like peroxide or fluoride or triclosan, parabens, and alcohol that can disrupt the natural balance of the beneficial bacteria. What's a sign that your mouth microbiome is out of balance? Bad breath. If you wake up in the morning and you have sour breath, or throughout the day you get bad breath, that's the sign to you that your microbiome, you have too much bad bacteria, not enough healthy bacteria, and that if you don't fix it, you're going to end up with some health issues down the road. But we've been trained to believe that bad breath is normal, just thing of life, a fact of life. And so just pop in a breath mint or use some mouthwash or chew some gum and you'll be fine, which in reality, those compound the problem. They make it even worse. So they lead to imbalances that contribute to health problems, including dry mouth, bad breath, and increased plaque buildup. And then those lead to internal health issues that include infertility, heart disease, brain health, immune compromise, and all sorts of things. And then the gut microbiome. This is the one that most people are like, oh my God, I never thought about this. But, not just oral health. So oral health will impact everything I said. But when we think about gut microbiome, there's two ways that this gets affected from your personal care products. So the first would be the toothpaste or the tooth powders or mouthwashes that you're using. They did a study not too long ago about triclosan. So triclosan is an ingredient that can be found in mouthwashes or toothpaste. It's not as common. I think they've taken it out of most toothpaste by now, but I do believe it's still in some mouthwashes. But the tiny amount that you swallow, because most people feel like, oh, I don't swallow it. So the tiny amount, they weren't telling people to swallow it. They were just brushing their teeth and then testing. And they were testing the gut microbiome. And what they discovered was that teeny tiny amount of triclosan that you swallow by accident causes dysbiosis of the gut, which means it causes an imbalance. What this is like taking an antibiotic twice a day for life and expecting your gut to be healthy. So that's what happens when you ingest even a tiny bit of toothpaste that has the wrong types of ingredients in it. But when you're talking about gut microbiome related to other products, ingredients like phthalates, which are in so many products, synthetic fragrances, and certain preservatives found in skincare and shampoos and lotions, enter the body through the skin, accumulate in the digestive system, and then will cause harm to the gut bacteria. This can cause or affect your digestion, increase inflammation, and lead to bloating, gas, and food sensitivities. And by the way, if you're someone who has digestive issues, then you by not getting rid of these things in your skincare and continuing to absorb them, no matter what you're trying to heal with, whether it's, diet and supplements, medication, whatever, isn't going to be effective long-term because you're not getting rid of a root cause of what's going on inside your body. So what to do? Switch to microbiome-friendly clean beauty products. You want to look for formulations that are made with natural oils, clays, and botanicals. So that's any plant-based ingredients. And you want to prioritize ingredients that are free from synthetic chemicals. The synthetic chemicals are really tricky in our day and age because a lot of beauty companies, they claim to be clean, they claim to be natural, they claim to be healthy, they claim to use plant-based ingredients. But what I look at is, okay, is this a plant-based ingredient or is this a plant that started out, the ingredient started out from a plant, but it's become so highly processed that you really can't even say it's a plant-based ingredient anymore. So I kind of liken it to McDonald's. This is like fast food skincare where it kind of looks like food or it looks like what it's supposed to look like, but it's really not. So that's what's happening with our industry right now is, they're claiming that this is coconut based, but when you look at the way that that coconut based ingredient, the process of getting it into the state that they've used it, it no longer has no nutritional value. And secondly, through that processing, there's chemicals being used and contamination, but that's not defined by the end product. That's not included in the end product. So it could be coconut based, and that's what they're telling you, but that last end result product is contaminated with maybe 10 or 12 chemicals or heavy metals or things like that. So that's a huge problem. Anything, Deidre, you want to add before I go to problem number 2?
No, the one thing I was just writing down that I wanted to make sure we chatted about very briefly is so triclosan is something that we test on total tox testing. So a lot of our clients do this testing and we see elevated levels, and we typically think about this in terms of hand sanitizer, right? It's a sanitary product. And so knowing that those things are also in our oral products and disrupting the gut microbiome, for anybody who is listening to this and you do see this marker come back elevated on your testing, looking at those products might be a really good point, in addition to thinking about, what you're absorbing through the skin dermally from a hand sanitizer perspective as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I always forget about the hand sanitizer because I haven't used it all through what happened. I never used hand sanitizer. I made my own with plant-based ingredients. And so to me, I don't even think about it, but you're absolutely right. And they've proven that what you put on your hands, you're touching your food, you're touching your mouth, and it does get absorbed, not just through your skin, but also through your mouth. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. All right, problem number 2, the hormonal imbalances from the endocrine disruptors. So this is the problem. Ingredients like parabens, phthalates, and synthetic fragrances mimic, block, or disrupt your hormones. So this basically, I love that photo of this woman. It sometimes makes me think, oh my God, I remember those days. I remember those days of not being able to think that, someone could say something to me and I'd be like, wait, what did they say? Oh my gosh. You walk in a room and you can't remember where you put your keys or you put your phone, all of those types of things. It's women are impacted by this so much. So what you might see is weight gain. You're still doing the things that you've been doing. You're working out, you're, doing the things, eating healthy, but you still can't get the scale to budge. Mood swings, menopausal symptoms, brain fog, headaches, infertility, irregular periods, and chronic fatigue. These are all the signs that your hormones are out of balance. And the organs that are impacted by these hormone disruptors are your thyroid gland, which of course regulates your metabolism and energy level. And so you're going to feel the fatigue and weight gain and those types of symptoms. Your adrenals are also affected, which is your stress hormone production of cortisol. And you'll feel chronic fatigue and mood swings. In women, the ovaries, obviously for the hormones for reproduction. So irregular cycles, imbalances, infertility are what you'll see. In men, it would be the testes, and this affects them. It lowers fertility and hormone production. It can also, some of the ingredients can cause the sperm to become, immobile or irregular shaped. So that's not good either. Pituitary gland, of course, this is your master control. So it's going to affect all of your endocrine glands, and then your liver. We can't forget about that because the more you put in your body that's toxic, the more overwhelmed that your liver becomes. So what happens when you're overburdening is that your liver can no longer keep up. And so your blood becomes so full, and it's a It's a protective mechanism of your body to store excess toxins in your fat tissue and your glands and your organ tissue. So what happens when those start to fill up is that your body says, I need more storage. So what do you think your body makes? Whether you want it or need it or are, not exercising enough, your body's going to store more fat to store more toxins because your liver can't get rid of it. But the opposite is true. As soon as you turn off the faucet and stop putting those things in, then your body, your blood will get filtered by your liver. And as it gets filtered, those toxins re-enter from your fat and your organs, re-enter into your bloodstream. It's always an equilibrium between your bloodstream and your fat. So if your bloodstream becomes more toxic, those toxins go into your fat tissue to be stored. If your bloodstream is filtered because you've shut off the water faucet, then you will pull toxins from your fat tissue. So we can start to feel much better. This is what happens too when you start burning fat. If you're on a weight loss diet, you start burning fat. What happens a lot of times is day one, day two, day three, you're like, yes, I can do this. This is amazing. I feel amazing. I'm getting up, I'm getting up early. I've got so much energy. You hit day three, day four, day five, and you feel like you can't even get out of bed. You can't get off the couch. Like my brain feels like in a fog. And part of that reason is because as you're burning fat, you're re-entering, even though your blood hasn't filtered, you're burning fat, which is increasing the amount of toxins from your fat tissue into your bloodstream. And now your body has to figure out how to deal with that because you're saturated. So that's one of the reasons that day three or day four of a weight loss program, if you're not fully detoxed, then you can start to get some of those symptoms, those detox symptoms. So how do we resolve that? We avoid products with hormone disrupting chemicals, read your labels. I'm going to go into this a little bit more, the don't trust the EWG. How many of you ladies out there, are using the EWG Think Dirty or Yucca apps and to buy products? I'm just curious. I don't let my clients use any of these apps because you don't need them and they're not telling you the truth anyway. And I've tried to, bring this to their attention and they want nothing to do with me. The EWG is funded by the brands that they are, reporting. So, why would they want to, they're kind of in a catch-22. When the EWG started, I remember when they started, I was in business and my products were all on there and they were all zeros. And then all of a sudden they wanted to charge me $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per product per year to list. And that's basically what happens. But what happens if you're a dirty brand and you are paying them, they can't really not recommend your product. Like, would you put your product on there and pay $3,000 a year for them to say, don't use this product? No. So what the EWG now does is they will put a little asterisk for an ingredient that they used to not, allow or not give a good rating to. And now there's a little asterisk that basically, if you click on it, you will see it says, okay, for this product and this company, we've looked into it and it's okay. However, it's not okay for any other product, which is really dirty business because most consumers aren't looking at that. You're going there, you're looking at the number and you're like, oh, it's got a 1 rating. This is good. The other problem that I'll get into is that they're not disclosing hidden toxins. So there's hidden toxins in personal care products that they don't even take into consideration. So something that might have a 0 rating, I would give it a 10. No way, you should toss it or don't buy it. So I'll talk to you guys about that in a second. But you want to choose brands that are committed to transparency and clean ingredients. So you want to be aware of greenwashing tactics. And the problem is it's really hard because I was out to lunch with a friend not too long ago. It was probably about 6-8 months ago. And she knows what I do. She knows about my program. And she said, Trina, I don't need your program. I let the brands teach me what I need to know about their products. And I said, really? That's interesting. Who are you using? Just out of curiosity, who are you using? And she told me the brand, and it sounded like a beautiful brand. It was somewhere up on the, East Coast. It was, sounded really good. And so I pulled it up. I had my laptop. I go, just a minute, let's take a peek. So I pulled it up and I pulled up the brand, I said, tell me what products you're using. So she told me. So I pulled it up and I said, okay, that's toxic. That's toxic. That's a hormone disruptor. This is this. This is this. She was blown away. You can't let the brands, if you don't know what to look for, you are going to rely on what the brands are telling you, and the brands are going to greenwash everything. I call it brand washing. They're brand washing it so that they look okay. They're only going to tell you what they want you to know. They're not going to tell you, oh, by the way, this ingredient, it really isn't as clean as it's supposed to be. So you really have to know what you're looking for. And that's where I come in. And then you want to support your endocrine system with detoxifying routines and clean products. You want to get rid of the stuff that's in your body that's not supposed to be there. Your body's really efficient. It will do that, but you have to turn the faucet off. And turning the faucet off is the first step. So problem number 3, anything else, Deidre, before I go to problem number 3? You're
No,
good?
I think that's great. I'm very curious. Well, I know are you going to walk us through like what to be looking for? And that's kind of like what you do ultimately, right? Is what you want to know what you're looking for rather than relying on those apps. Is there any like apps that you do like, or is it just like it's better to know?
So here's the thing. Um, once you learn from me, like what I teach, you never need an app. So I don't like to rely on apps because they're always going to be little nuances of, you still have to know. You still have to know how to read a label and what you're looking for, what's good and what's bad. That's what I teach. And to be honest with you, I've simplified it. I know overwhelmed, right? So you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's probably 5,000 chemicals that are used in skincare. You're like, I don't want to memorize all those. You don't have to. I have simplified it so easy that you don't memorize anything, and within 3 seconds. And it doesn't matter if you're shopping online or you're shopping in a store, you know within 3 seconds if a product is worth your time, your money, your health, and your beauty, because those are the 4 things that it will impact. So I teach you very easy. So no, there's really no apps that I recommend because all of them have little pitfalls. And once you know, you can't unknow. What I teach is never going to go out of style. There's not going to be something new that's going to come around because I teach you back to the basics. We're getting back to the basics of what's healthy. And that kind of thing, like when you think about food and going back to a real food diet, like there's never going to be another, type of eating that's going to come out and convince you otherwise, because you know that real food is better than processed food. It doesn't matter what the new craze is out there. You're ignoring it. It's not even on your radar because it's not good for you. So it's noise. It's noise you don't even have to tune into. So that's how it is. The same thing with skincare. Your skin is your second gut. So I call it skin food. So it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, and to your point too, things are always changing. We know that brands are changing things all the time in terms of formulations, and sites like EWG or others are changing because they are businesses at the end of the day, and so those things do shift relatively quickly. And so, to your point, knowing what you need to look for is an easier way to be able to trust yourself and just yourself.
Yes, you have to trust yourself. And here's the other key, like what you said, brands are always changing. So I always get, Trina, can you just tell me what to use? Well, I could, but tomorrow that brand could change completely. They could be bought and they could change their formula. And if you don't know and do a check-in periodically when you're buying that product, to go, let me just double check that the ingredients haven't changed. You could be shocked and surprised. So it's knowledge is power. Of course, I do give recommendations there's a few brands that I do recommend because I do know that their products, all of them or almost all of them, are good, or there are products. So some brands will have good products and some that I wouldn't recommend. There's a lot of brands like that out there. They might have 1 or 2 really good, healthy products, but the rest you pass on. So it's that kind of knowledge. When you have the knowledge and the insight on how to do this, you've got so much, but you've literally taken your power back. You own it. They can't steal anything from you anymore. So problem 3, metabolic stress and neurotoxicity from the toxic overload. So we've kind of touched on this a little bit just to go in a little bit deeper on it. But your products, they're absorbed through the skin, they're overburdening the liver and your detox pathways. So these are the symptoms. And I always say, control what you can control. Like when I lost when I miscarried, I was like, we got to control what we can control. And what you put on your skin and in your body is definitely under your control. You can't control the sun and the radiation and pollution, but you can control what goes on your skin. And believe it or not, I do teach as well how to protect yourself more against pollution and radiation with the products that you put on your skin, because there is a way to help prevent the absorption of some of those things as well, just by switching, what type of product you're putting on your skin. But anyway, body odor is another, toxic overload. If you always constantly have body odor, of course, it's related to food too, but foods have toxins. Your body just is overwhelmed with all these toxins. Insomnia, irritability, muscle aches, those are and constipation symptoms of toxicity. And neurotoxicity, these synthetic chemicals, the heavy metals and the fragrances do cross the blood-brain barrier. The other problem is if you have leaky gum syndrome, the leakiness, the inflammation in your gums, the leaky gut syndrome, so your inflammation in the gut, toxins can pass through more easily. But there's also leaky brain syndrome. So when you have leaky gut and leaky gum, chances are pretty good that your brain membrane, your blood-brain barrier isn't so healthy either. So that means that things like mercury and aluminum and lead and, tiny ingredients like fragrance can actually get into your brain much easier. And so you'll end up with all the neurological types of symptoms like the brain fog, the headaches, memory issues, mood swings long term. This is also reversible, and it's the shut the faucet off and let's pull it out. True detox, if you shut the faucet off and make the switches, most women that I've worked with notice changes very quickly. 2, 3, 4 weeks. A lot of women are feeling so much better. The true detox, the full detox, because the first detox is going to be getting rid of it in your bloodstream, and then it's going to lower. It's going to be lowering, but pulling out from your tissues. The full detox will take about a year. Of cleansing and just removing and nourishing your body. But during that time, you're healing not just your skin, you're healing every organ in your body. So you'll start to see those changes in the way that you feel. So detoxing your beauty routine to lighten the load on your liver and protect your brain. And I always say start with the products you use the most, and start with the products that you're going to be emptying very quickly. So, I always say start with your dental products and your toothpaste, or your dental and your deodorant, because they're not as expensive as most of the skincare products. So let's switch those out. Those are very impactful anyway, because your mouth is connected to every organ, and your pit tissue is really, it's very easy to absorb those toxins into your lymph, because your lymph nodes are right there, and your lymphatic drainage. And then your breast. Most women don't realize how much impact deodorant has on breast health, but the quadrant, that right upper or the upper outer quadrant, is where the majority of breast tumors are found. And that's the closest tissue to where you put your deodorant on. So making those switches, and I teach you either what to use, or I also teach you how to make some very easy products, very easy to make. And a lot of women have so much fun with just making a couple simple products for themselves. But skin food, thinking about food or skin products as food instead will just make that shift in your brain as you're buying things. Like, is this food? I always say, think about it. Would you put that face moisturizer on your salad as a salad dressing, or spread it on your sandwich? Because if you wouldn't eat it, you shouldn't be putting it on your skin. That's just the bottom line. If there's any ingredients in there that look like chemicals or synthetic, they are. If there's a number with it, it's not good for you. If it doesn't look like a plant or an earth-based ingredient, it's probably not good for you. You want to incorporate natural detoxifiers. Clay is amazing. You can use clay in numerous ways. I teach how to do that. Oil-based cleansers to draw out impurities. And the reality of it is, the more toxic you are, the older your biological age is. Toxins age you faster. I just did Dr. Mark Hyman's blood work. He's got his new program out, and it said that I was about 15 years. I'm 56, so it was saying that I was closer to 41 with my I guess they call it that biological age, or so I'm very happy about that because I was like, oh, see, that's amazing. But toxins definitely age you faster. So I could have been on the other spec. I could have been 10 to 15 years older. And those people, there's people out there that are older than their age. They look older, and it all comes down to the toxicity levels. And this is a great indication. This is Sharon, a client of mine. And you can tell, obviously, the after picture looks so much better. But what I always like to point out is look how sick she looks. Look what like she was exhausted. She came to me, I'm exhausted. I'm brain fog. And I could have looked at her picture and said, you're exhausted. You don't feel good. You can't keep anything straight in your head. And it's all because of the way, like you can see the toxicity in her skin and the way she feels, the under the eye bags. So many women feel like they're stuck with those. And she was like, oh my gosh. And she didn't want to take a before picture. She's like, no, I don't need a before picture. I said, yes, you do. You definitely want a before picture because you're going to want to see the difference because everybody else is going to see it and you're going to be like, no, no, no. And then when you see it side by side, she was blown away. Like you can even see her skin just looks better. You can tell she's healthy and vibrant. Her organs are healthy. Your skin is your largest organ. It reflects every organ in your body. It tells you what they look like and what they're feeling like. That's one of the things our skin is supposed to do, but we pretend like we just ignore it. We're like, oh, but if your skin looks like her before picture, there's things going on in your body because your organs look like that too. But it's all change. You can change that. Your body regenerates, your cells regenerate usually 40 to 60 days, your cells regenerate. So you're not stuck with what you're dealing with today. So why does this matter? Your microbiome is your body's first line of defense. So whether it's your skin, your gut, or your mouth, and it just depends on where things are coming in from. Your microbiome is your first line of defense. If you're wiping that out in all of those areas, you are going to get sick because you're not going to be able to keep those pathogens out of your body. And then once it's in your body, that slews the inflammation inside the body. Balanced hormones are essential for overall health. So if you're using hormone disruptors, you're never going to feel healthy and you're never going to feel like you've got vitality. And then a healthy metabolism supports energy, weight management, and vitality. So the best thing to do is today's the day. Just start with today. One of the things that I tell people, like, what can I do? What's the first step? And the first step is really looking at your ingredients, literally getting used to flipping it over and looking. And even if you don't know what you're looking at or looking for yet, you're becoming aware of what the ingredient and list looks like, so what a healthy one is going to look like. So you want to audit your current products for harmful ingredients, replace them with the clean, microbiome friendly and hormone friendly alternatives, and always educate. Like right now I'm taking 3 courses. I never stop educating myself because knowledge is power, and as soon as you have your power back, you have everything that you need. And no one can tell you otherwise. The noise on social media is so loud that it's really hard to know who's right and who do you trust, because this is what I call the influencer problem. And I'm not picking on Irina. I actually like Irina. I think she does an okay job for what she's trying to do. I just don't like the fact that even the stuff that she's recommending is still toxic. But, here's the problem. She's got, and this was a couple probably months ago, 84,000. So she's probably got more followers now. She's a consumer safety advocate and manufacturer advisor for ingredient safety. So you think when you're following her and what she's telling you is true. But the problem is when you look at her worst, not a fan, better, of course, I wouldn't recommend either. But even her best has products in there that I won't let my clients use because of the ingredients. And I know it just by looking at them. So the problem is, as a consumer, how do you know who to believe? So who do you trust? And Irina's not the only one. The problem is you've got health influencers, you've got physicians also, that either have their own brands or recommending brands. You have celebrities. recommending you have, and just remember these influencers are being paid by the company to promote their products. They don't know anything about them. They don't even know whether they're clean or not clean. So it's really hard to know who you can trust, because even with these other ones that I've got up here, the ones that they're recommending aren't good. There's one or two on there that I would say are safe, but the majority of them as a consumer, when you're looking at this, it's giving you a false sense of security. It's like buying the sunscreen that has 60 SPF and thinking that you're safe to go out in the sun all day and ending up with this bright reds, sun poisoning and not feeling well, and realizing that what you put on your body was actually more toxic than the sun itself, and that you should have done some other things instead, like stayed out of the sun or reapplied with a better ingredient or whatever. So we don't want the false sense of security. So the steps, what I recommend is joining the clean beauty movement, transforming your beauty routine. You will transform your health. I have not seen anybody that does this that doesn't transform their health, because when you stop overloading your body with toxins, your body can heal. So whatever the underlying symptoms you're having, whether it's infertility or brain fog or weight gain, those types of things can begin to resolve if you turn the faucet off. Empower your microbiome, your metabolism, your hormones, reclaim your energy, vitality, and natural beauty. And the time is to start. So really quick on the Think Dirty, the Yucca, and the EWG. They're not disclosing toxic ingredients that are hidden. So to the average consumer, you wouldn't know to look for or to look at these ingredients. But for instance, the packaging is extremely important. Plastic packaging leaches plasticizers and hormone disruptors and cancer-causing ingredients into the product. And they don't even take into consider whether a product is housed in plastic or housed in something safe, like glass or cardboard or some alternative. So anything and we live in a plastic world. I always say, if you want to look like Barbie, use plastic products. Continue to use those plastic products. You're getting plastic. The microplastics, I know it's all over the internet about food and microplastics, but you're absorbing them through your skincare as well. So, and clothing. Clothing's the other one that's big right now. Skincare is a big producer of plasticizers, but that's the problem. They're not disclosing hidden toxins. And one of the problems is plastic. So, in my program, you work with me, you don't even need these. We get rid of that. So is it okay if I go through and tell you, about my program?
Yeah, of course.
And
I have the link too. So tell us a little bit about your program and what you do.
perfect. So it's an online course that reveals the dirty secrets of the personal care industry. So it's at your own pace. You don't have to do this within a certain time frame. It is a 5 weeks. You get one module a week for 5 weeks. But again, you take it at your own pace. You can start whenever you want. If you want to take it in 10 weeks or 12 weeks, you can. Most women do it within 5 weeks because they're so they're blown away and they're just ready for the change and the detox. So 5 weeks, it's about 30 different videos on there. But it's a self-paced, and I use my signature framework called the Bold Beauty Methods. So this is what it's about. It's called the Holistic Health and Beauty Reset Program. It used to be called Bold Beauty. So inside the program, I sometimes, because I recorded everything under Bold Beauty, will say, Bold Beauty, but it's the holistic. I renamed it because it wasn't just about beauty. It's about resetting your health and your beauty. So that it's a program that has these 5 modules. I'll walk you through what they are very quickly. The Be Label Savvy, the very first module is all about the back end of the beauty industry. You need to understand everything, there is to understand. So it's a brain dump from me. It's about 16 years worth of my research, put into a program that you get to do what I did in 16 years in just 5 short weeks. And in there, you learn how to read a skincare label so that you don't have to even rely on any of those apps. And the very second video, I teach you how to start your detox program, and you can do it today. Probably every single one of you ladies has the ingredient that you need to start. So there's no excuses. You can literally start today. And so many women are blown away by just that one single product and what it does to their skin. They're blown away. So that's the back end. And then module 2 is after you know everything that you need to know. Now let's walk you through cleansers, what to look for in a cleanser. Here's some of the cleansers I recommend. Here's a recipe if you want to make your own. And then, serums, face moisturizer, same thing. Let's talk about what's good, what's not good, what you want to look for. Here's some products I recommend or brands that I like. And here's a recipe or two for you to make if you're into making it. And by the way, when I give you recipes, typically most of the recipes that I give you, especially, and I'll talk about it in a minute in my community, I have a whole bunch of recipes. They're hyperlinked. So all the ingredients, all you have to do is click and add to cart. If you want to make something, some of them I have videos to demonstrate how to do it, but you click and add to cart so that you know that the ingredients that I'm sourcing are good. They're very high quality ingredients, that the nutrition that your skin is going to get is very, you can't replace that. So it's very easy that when I put these together, it's very easy for you to go buy all the ingredients. You're not searching around and trying to find them yourself. The third module is all about makeup because makeup's one of the most toxic things we wear as women. And so I teach you about makeup, and to be totally transparent and honest, there is no such thing as clean makeup because all makeup, there's very few. There's some brands that are starting to come out that are doing better, but almost all makeup is toxic, even the better ones. But it's one of those things that I teach you, if you are detoxing and your body's healthy, your body is supposed to be able to get rid of toxins. So makeup, I don't go without makeup. I wear makeup. I love makeup. I would never tell a woman you can never wear makeup again unless you're Pamela Anderson and you choose to. So it's, I'm very transparent about makeup, but I do also have recipes if you want to make some of your own makeup. Blush is very easy to make. So, foundation, powder foundation is very easy to make. So I also teach you how to do that. Module 4 is all about dental health. So we get into let's change your dental program. Let's get your gums healthy, your teeth white and strong. I've healed so many cavities. This stems from my daughter who had a molar that had a natural cavity that happened in utero. And I saved the cavity that tooth from needing to be pulled. And so I teach you what to look for in a dental routine. I have a recommendation of a dental program. And I also have, of course, recipes if you want to make your own. And then module 5 is about stopping the stench. So this is all about body care. So it's going to be your deodorant and body care products, including, moisturizers, and as well as sun protection. I teach you about sun protection that will actually block chlorine absorption from pools because the chlorine in pools is very damaging to our thyroid. So I teach you about how to make one. I actually have a recipe for one, or, how to buy one that is made and formulated that way. So I also go into the pillars of youthful and glowing skin. There are root causes of aging skin. And this is the one other thing that you learn in there is, the root causes of aging skin are the exact opposite of the pillars of youthful and glowing skin. So it would be, as we get older, we have dehydrated skin, and that's for numerous reasons. I go through that. Decreased blood flow, decreased muscle tone. All of these things are reversible. Decreased collagen and decreased elastin. So in my program, you learn how to reverse those and increase hydration, increase blood flow, increase muscle tone, increase collagen, increase elastin, so you can look about 10 years younger. So in the program, each module, it has a total value of around $800. You also get some bonus expert sessions, as well as you get a month for free in my community. It's the Bold Beauty community. I call us the Clean Beauty Badasses. And so you get a month for free in there. Inside the community is where you can ask all your questions to me. If you have a product you're questioning, you can post it in there. I always believe that if you have that question, someone else will have that question or will learn from that. So I always like those questions to be put in the community. And I sometimes will do video answers to explain why that's a good product or not a good product, or whatever the question might be. There's all sorts of questions in there. I also give information about what I use for laundry care and, all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of information, as well as my my cooking show. I call it the cooking show, the Bold Beauty Cooking Show. I have a bunch of recipes in there. I also have, and one of the recipes is a no tox face serum. I teach you how to make it. It's no tox Botox, so it uses an herb instead of like the Botox that paralyzes the muscle and is a neurotoxin. It uses an herb that will relax the muscle and smooth out your fine lines and wrinkles. Easy to make. All of this stuff is so easy. That's one thing I want women to realize is that it's not expensive. The beauty industry wants you to believe that it's too expensive. Clean beauty is too expensive and it doesn't work. And it's so hard to make. Those are the three things that they want you to believe, and none of them are true. Because if you believe that those are true, then the beauty industry's lost you. And they don't control you anymore. They can't sell you product after product after product. They can't make you sicker and sicker and sicker and needing more of these things. So those are the three things they want you to believe. But I'm here to tell you none of those are true. So you get a month for free inside the community. And all of that is a total value of around $1,000. On my current price on the website is $397, but because Deidre has a special link for you today and through her program, you will get the price at $197. So that's $197. You get everything. There's no time frame on any of this. Once you have it for the lifetime. I always hate to say lifetime, but the lifetime of the program, as long as it's available, and you always get updates. So if I ever throw an update or do a new video, which I do every once in a while inside the program, you always have access to that. And then the community, you get a month for free. After that month, if you choose, it's not for you and you don't want to be there, there's no time frame you can leave. Otherwise, as someone who has taken my program, because there's people in there, there's women in there that have not taken the program, but they want to make their own products. So you get it for only $15 a month, having been part of the program. So that's what that cost is. I always like to be honest and upfront. So the longer you continue using the products that you're using, filled with toxins, the hidden toxins, the harder it becomes. We know that the harder it becomes to undo the damage. You can undo the damage, but the longer and the more toxic you are, it takes longer. With the right approach, you can stop the harmful effects right now and start repairing the damage today. Tina is actually a health coach, and she was a beauty counter consultant. And she sold the beauty counter for years, and she thought that they were clean and safe. And when I told her that no, they've never been clean and safe, she thought I was lying. So I told her to check on one thing with the beauty counter, and she's like, okay, I'll check. I'm sure you're wrong. And about 3 weeks later, I hadn't heard from her, and I messaged her and said, did you ever hear from the beauty counter on this question we had? And she's like, yeah, nope. I kept getting passed along and passed along and passed along. I believe you're actually right. They are not clean. She knows it now. But she said she took the course and she was just blown away by what she did not know. So the risk of not doing anything, I always have to let you know, because I'm very transparent. As a nurse, I've always been very honest. I'm the one that stayed in the room after the doctor left and always explained in English what he or she said. But the risk of not doing anything is that these issues will continue to get worse. You're going to live with them. They're going to continue to get worse and worse and worse just because it's a toxic load problem. You're going to continue to have those health issues. Here's a couple of my clients. Nan, taking the course, said she's really enjoying it. Cheryl was like, oh my God, I'm still getting all these emails from companies that I thought were clean. And now I'm just taking a closer look and realizing they're really not clean. And then Catherine, I call it the 30-day challenge, or it's, the very first module, the detox program. You can do it from 7 days up to 30 days until you figure out what you really want to use after the detox. But she said, I'm doing the 30-day challenge. And after a week and a half, she started getting compliments on her skin. And then this is Rebecca. Rebecca's a nurse. And she blew me away because she just messaged me. She said, this is what she sent me. And I'm like, can I share that with people? This is important. She's like, please do. But she has autoimmune disease. She's been suffering with autoimmune disease for years, and narcolepsy, as well as Hashimoto's and insulin resistance. And she was shocked. She was about, I would say somewhere between 3 and 4 weeks into the program when she sent me this. And she said that she's been coming down on all her meds. And for the narcolepsy, she's down to half of her meds, and her insulin resistance is getting better too. And her antibodies are back with the normal limits. She was just blown away. She was shocked at the impact that, because she didn't change anything else in her program for herself. And this is Lisa and April, clients, and just to take a look at what their before and afters look like. Lisa, age 60, I think she's 68. She might be a little bit older than that now, but she was like, she goes, I'm not doing it for my skin. She goes, I'm not gonna, I don't care. I just want to feel better and see if this makes a difference. But you can see the difference in the way her skin looks. Like the darkness, some of the discolorations are leaving, gone. And same with April. She's younger. I think April is, 30 and 33. And she just was like, wow, I can't believe the difference. All right,
Wow.
questions.
Are incredible results. Yeah, we had just a few questions. So I know that there are often ingredients in a lot of beauty products that people are probably wondering about. So one is a lot of our clients are thinking about avoiding seed oils in food because they know that they're inflammatory. What about in skincare? And the other thing we often bring up is we don't like our clients drinking tap water, but we're using tap water in beauty products, right?
Right. Those are two great questions. Seed oils and rapeseed is the same thing as canola. So I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but a lot of beauty companies will use rapeseed and they, put it on there as rapeseed because they don't want you to think it's or know that it's canola. But it's the same thing. You're absorbing them and they will cause inflammation inside the body, just like if you're ingesting it through your gut. So yes, you do want to avoid those oils. The other question sometimes people ask me is, what if I'm allergic to like almonds? Will I be allergic to the oil? The answer is typically no, because what's in an almond is not typically in the oil that's causing that allergy. However, you always want to do a patch test if you can. So just get a little bit of almond oil and do a patch test on your wrist or somewhere so that you can see if you have a reaction to it or, notice anything. But it's typically not a problem when you're doing something like that. Water is one of the main things that I teach my clients to avoid. So the water free, you got to be careful with waterless. There are brands out there using the term waterless and pretending that it means free from water or no water. I actually get into arguments with some of the reps for these companies because I quote, I mean, it's like the Webster's dictionary definition of waterless. It means without water. And they're claiming for the brand, it means less, they're using less water than other brands, than conventional brands. I'm like, yeah, but you can't change a meaning to a word that people have. So you have to be very careful with that kind of stuff. I'm going to stop screen sharing for now. That way, there we go. Okay. But water is typically tap water. Most brands are using tap water in their products, and tap water is contaminated with heavy metals. It's a good entryway for heavy metals into the body, but it's contaminated with drug waste. And we have to think about the drugs that when people are on, the bigger drugs, including birth control pills. So if you're suffering with infertility and you're slathering these products that have tap water on, and you're wondering why your periods are irregular or you're not getting pregnant or you can't stay pregnant, or if you're the menopause, age, then you're having these symptoms, you have to stop and, realize that it's because part of it is that you're still taking birth control pills. You're still on birth control through your skincare products. And even a small amount will get in and it will make a big impact because it's not going to your liver. It's, and you can be storing these. And this is why, like Deidre was saying, try, if you're planning to get pregnant, that's the best time to make the switch before you get pregnant, because then you can detox some of these things out of your system before you get pregnant. But tap water also, so not just birth control pills, but you've got antidepressants. So many people are on antidepressants, and no judgment. It's just a fact that almost everyone that's using traditional skincare or water-based skincare is on antidepressants, antibiotics, heart disease medication. Those are all things that people are taking when they're using tap water formula. So then I get the question, what if the water is purified? Great question. You might not be exposed to the chemicals like you would be if it was tap water. However, water dries out your skin. So if it's a product that you're using to hydrate and moisturize your skin, it's not going to do that. I've formulated my own products for almost 20 years now. I know how to formulate. I know how to read the formulas. And I tell you that about when a product is water-based, it's listed as the first ingredient. It can be between 70 and 90% water, which means that it has to have other ingredients in it because water's in there. So your active ingredients are probably only about 3% of the product. And then, that tap water and then all the other things that are toxic to your body are the primary ingredients of that product. So basically what you're paying for. As far as clean or oil-based products is what I call it, or water-free products is another way to put it. You're using so much less than what you're using when you're using water-based because there's so much water in there and it's drying your skin out that you need more and more and more. Whereas when you're using a product that's made correctly, you need very little. You might need more initially as you're rehydrating your skin, but once your body normalizes, which doesn't usually take too long, you need much less because your body's now making its own or making its sebum or natural oils the way it's supposed to. When you're using water-based, it's destroying your sebum. It's destroying your acid mantle layer, which destroys your microbiome. So you're opening your body up to a lot of problems. So making the switch is going to protect you and keep your skin moisture inside your skin, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I want to be respectful of your time, so I have one more question if that's okay for you. I'm sure you see
Yes.
this all the time. So people who have very sensitive skin and they just don't know what they're really responding to, or they've tried beauty brands that everyone loves, but it makes them break out. What's happening there?
That makes them break out.
Mhm.
So it could be a lot of things. Are you talking about like switching to natural?
Yeah, like more natural ones, I think, more than anything. Not like homemade necessarily, but like there's a lot of brands on the market I think that people are like are more at least promoted as non-toxic.
Yeah, isn't that natural? So a lot of times what's happening, it depends on the products that you're switching to, but there's a lot of ingredients that actually cause breakouts. And, on the regular conventional side, most of the ingredients that are in acne formulas are skin irritants, and even like benzoyl peroxide, which is very common, causes acne. But as far as switching to something that's a little bit more natural, your body's always going to decongest, and even the tissue in your skin, your face has toxins in it. So we have to allow that detoxification. And we got to think about the structures of the skin. The cells need to be fed, and it's all about cellular health. So if your cells aren't healthy, it builds from there. If your cells aren't healthy, then your tissues aren't healthy, and then your organs aren't healthy, and then the body's not healthy. So by detoxing and increasing blood flow, this is where some of those other things come in. When you increase blood flow to a system or to an area, even your face, I teach you how to increase blood flow to your face. You're going to have more oxygen delivery to the skin, but not only oxygen and nutrient delivery, you're going to have more blood flow pulling from the skin. So you're going to have more detoxification happen from the skin. So, and then even building up a little bit more muscle as we get older, we lose muscle in our face. And if you work on building up your muscle, even just a little bit, that stimulation of more muscle is going to increase collagen, increase elastin, and increase blood flow to your skin. So that's going to help with that detoxification. But typically when you're breaking out, unless it's from a specific ingredient, just like, when you eat something, it could be gut health, of course, breakouts, but if it's related to a product, it could be an ingredient or just the fact that you're detoxifying.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trina. This has been incredible. and so informative. I know people have a lot more questions on everything. If you have those questions, you can join her holistic health and beauty reset program, get access to her, be able to ask her anything. I mean, I might even sign up. I think this would be hugely helpful for me even. So, thank you so much for your time today, Trina.
Thanks, Deidre. I really appreciate it. If anybody has any questions that you need answered, or about the program, my email is help@trinafelber.com. And I'm the only one on my team. There's nobody else answering questions. So you'll get me. And I'm here for you. I've been where you are. I've figured it out. And now my mission is to help everybody else figure it out. So thank you, Deidre, for having me inside your community. What a great group of women. I just want to give like a high five to you all for working with Deidre and just being on that journey of health. Because again, you can't stop learning. You got to keep growing as an individual because that's where wellness is found.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.